Okay, and we are hopefully streaming. I think we are. I'm not entirely sure. I'm just going to test to make sure. Yes, chat shows up. That is good. So that does look chat thing, but whatever. Anyway, welcome to my Fruits Basket reaction podcast live stream for the beach arc, whatever you want to call it. This is my first time doing a video quite like this. Normally I do podcasts with C Tactics about Fruits Basket, but we've had trouble with schedules and other things. So I thought I would just talk to you guys about Fruits Basket because there's a lot that happened in the beach arc. Like, I wasn't sure if it would make sense to do a video like this. Hopefully the stream is working. I'm going to double check that it is. Yes, okay, we are live. That is good. Let me just tell people on Twitter. Okay, they clicked some more buttons, but that's fine. So yeah, the beach arc. It was episodes 10 through. Why is it? Okay, so apparently the chat will go away after a few seconds, minutes, however long. I didn't realize I did not have this all set up before I started to set it up. So yeah, that's what happened. But yes, the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to go through like episodes 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I'm going to move the microphone a little bit closer so that hopefully you can hear me better. Sorry about that noise. And yeah, just go through my notes, the things that happened, talk to you guys. So yes, please comment things in chat. That would definitely be helpful. So we started off episode 6. It was storming, and Tohru has twin tails and was adorable as always, and eating watermelon. This is actually something I didn't think about, is that like watermelon's a common refrain throughout this. And I think she's eating watermelon because watermelon is good. Hello Blackbird, thank you for stopping by. Yeah, so she was eating watermelon because watermelon is delicious. But I think that also ties into what we see like later on, either this episode or the next episode, with her trying to split the watermelon and talking about the story with her mom and how they did it. So I think her eating watermelon is like a way to harken back to that, and she likes watermelon. She makes her think of her mom, so that's why she does that. But yes, then we have Momiji bust in, who is great. Like Momiji, I think is, I don't know. I don't want to say he's my favorite because they're all amazing characters, but he's definitely one of my favorites of all the amazing characters. Yes, Momiji busts in and tells everyone that he has booked a vacation house and has invited everyone. So all the Somas are going to go to the vacation house, or at least most of them. I think Ayumi didn't. Were there any other characters that didn't? Because I feel like pretty much all of the Somas were involved in, or no, Ritsu wasn't. Are there any others who weren't? I don't think so. Maybe. But yeah, Kisa wants to go. Hiro was like, oh, why would I want to go with Tohru? Then Kisa says, I want to go. So he goes, yes, okay, let's go. And I realized I had the wrong episode screenshots up. That explains a few things. But yes, they're at the beach, and Kyo doesn't want to go in because he's a cat and doesn't like water, which I think is just a cute touch. Something else that was really cool early on is how Yuki saw the hat in her room, and we later on learned in the beach arc that yes, that was in fact Yuki's hat. I thought it being his hat made the most sense, but I was coming up with some crazy theories. Like, what if it was Akito's hat? That would be a surprise. But no, it was Yuki's because the show likes making sense. Kyo makes a funny comment saying he doesn't have the energy to deal with Momiji, which it is Momiji. That kind of makes sense. But though Momiji did ruin the moment with Yuki and Tohru talking about the hat, because he burst in all of a sudden talking about all the fun. And that just made us wait even longer to know if the hat was, in fact, his. So yes, they go off to the beach, they have fun. Shigure tells him not to tease Tohru without him there. So he's definitely one to tease Tohru, mostly. I don't like that, how the chat thing there. I'll fix that for next. Yeah, so we have Tohru being really good at swimming, though not knowing how to breathe while she's doing swimming, so she has to do all of it in one breath, and it was kind of fun to see. Just, it's Tohru being Tohru, of course it's fun. And we have a lot of flashbacks here with Yuki and remembering everything that Akito was saying to him. What was I about to call him? Yakito? Wrong character. Is that even a name? I don't know. But yeah, how like Akito seems the world is pitch black, and we get a lot of Akito this arc, which I think is really cool. Just because he's Akito, he's the villain. We're finally getting to like learn more about what he's doing, what makes him tick, which is great. Then we have Haru wanting to raise Kyo and gets Yuki to join somehow. So Kyo just went back to sulk because that's a Kyo thing to do. Just go back and sulk. And there's a lot of interesting moments here with Hiro and Kisa that I thought was really neat to see. Like we got some good moments with Hiro and Kisa back when their introductions, but they've kind of just like been in the background when they've been there, and their stories don't like really mesh with all the other big plot lines going in here. So I liked how they gave them a bit of a focus this episode. Like Hiro is Hiro is like picking on Tohru, asking what's wrong with her always carrying her mother around, and not really thinking about the impact that those words could have on her. And they really do get to her. And then he brushes it off, saying, "Oh, it's not a big deal. It can't be that bad." It's like, and this is really interesting. And it's a way that a lot of people feel. Like Hiro is saying, like he doesn't see himself as a villain because, of course, he doesn't. No one would see himself that way. But then you have Kisa like confronting him with that. He's right when she does so, but then her words also hurt him, and kind of he did deserve it. Kind of, mostly, somewhat. But despite that, like Kisa goes to apologize to him later, and when she does so, he ends up opening the door in her face, which I feel like there's definitely some like symbolism there with like she wants to make up, but it causes her pain in the process. So I think they meant to do that, though I definitely feel sorry for Kisa being hurt like that. And it also sets up the arc nicely, because something I was thinking about when I was rewatching it to make this video is how there's a lot of commonality between Hiro's words and Akito's words. The way that they are able to use words, they're able to find the things that really get to people to say. And by saying those, it really like brings the other person down. And no, I'm not saying that Hiro is a villain, not at all. But I honestly think he could be later on. He's a kid, he doesn't know better, and so yeah, I expect kids to do some crappy things sometimes. But it definitely shows that he could become like that if he doesn't change. I think that's definitely a warning. What he did was not all that bad, all things considered. But it shows that words can have power. And it's the things that he is doing, which is like what Akito's doing, the way he torments all the Somas and Tohru and everyone. I hope that we see Hiro like growing up more. Hey Francesca. Yes, I am live. I posted on Twitter, and hopefully you two would tell people that. But yes, thank you for stopping by. And now you can tell me everything that I am saying wrong. And I will also make you a mod so you can delete all the spoilers. Yes, because I don't like spoilers. Spoilers are evil. Don't spoil things, please. But yeah, I was talking about how like the way that Hiro was able to get to Tohru with her words actually reminded me of how Akito is able to torment people with his words. And I also feel that that's like a result of Hiro being around Akito so much and having like Akito as their like head of the family and all head of the Zodiacs and all that. So definitely interesting. I want to see Hiro get more development later on. Yes, he is kind of a brat, but I do like him, and I want to see him like grow and do more and do something awesome. I feel like they're setting him up to have some really cool moments later on, so I want to see this. We have. Oh yes, then after that, we saw Tohru like breaking down, like telling herself over and over, saying it's going to be okay, it's going to be okay, and then saying to her mom like we're always together. I know we talked about this some when I did the podcast on this episode with C before things happened, but I definitely feel like this is showing like her own weakness. Tohru is portrayed to be like a wonderful character, a nearly perfect person. We see that she's not, and she like has these flaws. She's not willing to let go of her mother, and while it's really enduring and makes her the person she is, that's definitely the place that she needs to grow and like get over that and like live her life apart from her mother. Very hard to do though, especially with everything she's been through. But it'll be interesting to see like how she develops in that way. Then we have, oh yes, then we have the part with Shigure and Akito. I love Shigure here. I don't know what exactly he's doing, but he's doing something. And I think he's trying to take down Akito, though having to be very subtle and careful as he does so. I mean, you have this picture on the screen now of Rain saying, crap, the screenshot just went away. Oh yeah, I'm sure that there's a lot of hidden depth to Tohru we haven't seen yet. But yeah, we have Shigure up to some sort of scheme, and basically getting Akito to come to the beach house to make things more twisted. Then we'll get into that more when we get on to episode 7. And we have Yuki coming down with a fever, back to him being sick, though it doesn't really seem to do too much. But again, I think that they're hinting at something more later on there. And then we have Yuki saying that he has something to tell her, and the thing that he has to tell her is that one day he will have something to tell her. Whatever that means. So we definitely get into that more later on in episode 7. And I went through my notes for episode 6, so let me switch the screenshots. And yes, we have Tohru having fun, because fun things are fun. I do love Tohru and Kyo here. They're great. So we have Akito showing up, and Yukito is thinking about how things aren't black. He's getting away from Akito, metaphorically at least. Though, of course, Akito comes right back and ruins everything, as Akito tends to do. But yes, we see that, in fact, that the person with the hat was Yuki, so my crazy theory about it, maybe it's Akito, was wrong. But it definitely shows Yuki's mindset here, and how he has a desire to feel needed. And the first time he felt that was when he was with Tohru, when he helped her home. And it's interesting because Akito makes a comment when they're together, I think it's later on this episode, where he's basically saying that I am so grateful that, or I am such a great person that even I have that I have a need for a person like you. And Yuki, it's like he's trying to control Yuki to make Yuki think that he needs Akito to have a purpose. But it's like through that scene with Tohru, Yuki is like getting out of it, making his own purpose, finding the people that need him. And how that is something that has stayed with him ever since, even through everything that Akito has put him in through. Oh, we also have Shigure. We got Hiro getting a call from someone. And it turns out that his mom is pregnant. And so everyone's like congratulating him. Apparently, she went to the hospital thinking that maybe she had a cold. Turned out to be pregnant. Now, I'm not an expert on pregnancy, but I'm pretty sure the symptoms of those two are very, very different. I also don't feel like you go to the doctor just because you have a cold, though I guess in Japan they tend to need something worse when they say a cold. Like, still, that's not normal. I feel like Hiro has an interesting family. And then you have Tohru and Kisa being all congratulatory, but it makes it sound like Hiro is the one having a kid. And then Hiro doesn't like that, and it's fun. Hiro is great, and so is Kisa and Tohru. And then Shigure jumps on them too, and yeah. Yeah, I actually kind of was caught off guard by Shigure, by Shigure not being there all along. They mentioned that as, oh wait, you weren't there last episode. But Shigure is there now. Because he wants to take Tohru on a date. And then everyone gets mad, and then he says, oh, I'm just joking. So I don't trust Shigure. Yes. But apparently the real reason he showed up is because he loves swimsuits. And then you have Hiro dragging Kisa away, which was wonderful. I do love Kisa and Hiro, and like how protective he is of her. It's like, nope, we're getting you away from this creep. And then we get some interesting discussions here with Momiji and Haru saying that a new Zodiac cannot be born because they are already all born. It definitely gives us more about the Zodiacs. There's one thing that I have noticed is that all the Zodiacs are approximately the same age. Like I think Kisa and Hiro are the youngest and they're like 13. And then you have the oldest being Hattori, Shigure, Ayumi, who are all like in their mid-20s. All the Zodiac's ages are within like 10 years of each other. And I wonder what the reason for that is. Like all the previous Zodiacs die at around the same time, because that would make sense. So there's definitely something more there. And we also got an interesting look at Hiro's life where his mother loved him being a goat. which is really weird considering all the other characters, how like Kisa's parents were like super overprotective, like super on edge. You had Kyo's mother who just like hated it and was trying to protect him, but was like overwhelmed her so much she killed herself. You have Momiji's mother who just like rejected him completely. So it's very interesting how Hiro probably had the most normal reaction we've seen. We also don't know about like Yuki and Ayumi's, like how they were like. We'll get to that later, I think. There's like all these questions that as I'm talking about that I keep thinking about different things. And like how the character, or like all these different questions that I don't realize we don't have the answer until I realize that we don't have the answer. Yeah, so Shigure saying he loves swimsuits. I should time these pictures better to match what I was saying, but whatever, or like match my notes. But yeah, we have Haru chopping a watermelon in half, which is like a karate chop, which is cool. And he tells Hiro to become an older brother who splits watermelon. I don't know if that's really a thing that he should do, but it is a cool talent to have. I wish I could do it. Then you have Tohru about to bring up the fun times that she had with her mom when they were splitting watermelon. But then she like doesn't, because she's afraid that like it would bother Hiro and everyone else because she brings up her mom so much. So she ends up saying something weird. I forget exactly what that was. But it was great. And then she tries splitting watermelon with her hand and fails and then cries. And yes, you have her saying it's fun, her with her spinny eye things. Yes. Tohru is amazing. Yes. Okay. So yes, Yuki was sold, so that would make sense if the Somas like get money for raising them, like the parents do. And then Tohru fails at taking the watermelon. So I'm just taking time to watch this great screenshot because it is great. And then Kisa is probably about to do the same thing, trying to celebrate. And I love the part when we got the flashback to Tohru's mom and Kyoko like trying to smash the watermelon. Like at first she misses and she destroys a plant, and then they do it inside and she knocks over their Tohru's dad's thing, which was definitely a Kyoko and Tohru thing to have happen. So yes, then we get back to Akito, who would like, we see a bit more of this, how like he would keep telling Yuki these pitch black things in the pitch black room. And I love the imagery of that, and how, and like denying everything that Yuki desire, like keeping him away from any hope or light or whatever. Then we have Kurino showing up with Akito, though they don't do much too so far. And we get Hattori giving Shigure a warning to be kinder to Tohru, Kyo and Yuki, and not to stir things up. Shigure only stirs things up. So that, yeah, that's not going to happen. Akito ends up coming across Yuki, who's on his walk alone. And, yeah. We don't really see much of what happens right there. But we have Shigure telling everyone else that Akito got there, and he'll stay in the annex. And that they all need to go say hi to him because it's Akito, and of course Akito demands it. But except Kyo, who can stay back with Tohru because the cat never goes to any of these big gatherings, which is probably for the best. And Kyo's definitely happy about that. He doesn't want to go see Akito. He wants to be with Tohru. And yeah, it definitely shows like how Kyo is ostracized by all the other Somas. It's like how Akito keeps reinforcing that. We have, oh yeah, so we get Tohru roaring, which was amazing, and confused Kyo, which made it even more amazing. We also get some interesting comments about like all the other Soma's reactions to having to go see Akito. Kisa's worried considering she got beat up last time by him when Hiro told Akito that he loved Kisa. You have Hiro holding her hand, trying to like be there for her. And welcome, Neko Wolf. Thank you for stopping by. Where was I? Sorry, I'm bad at just following my notes when I don't have. Yes, yes, we are actually live. This is not a premiere. If this was a premiere, I would be editing out the parts where I have no idea what I'm talking about, which is like half of these videos. We've seen Read Princess Connect. I have not. I'll look that up later though. Actually, if it's one of the newer anime, I have seen very little of the anime from this year. I've only seen like Fruits Basket, Magia Record, and Tower of God, and like tried a couple others, I think. I'll watch more at some point, maybe. So yes, we have Akito there with Yuki, telling Yuki, "Don't delude yourself. Don't believe Toru's lies." Is basically what he's saying. Not saying exactly that. And the interesting dynamic with Shigure and Hattori here are Shigeru's asking if Hattori's mad, and Hattori says no, that Shigure is trying to change whatever he's doing. So Shigure's definitely causing trouble, but I think it's for a good reason. It will have a good effect in the. I think. I want to know what Shigure's plans are. Hopefully, we'll get that soon. Princess Reconnect, I know. Are you talking about Princess Reconnect or Fruits Basket being a remake? Because Fruits Basket is, though, the season 2 has never been. This content in season 2 has never been animated. So that's why it's really exciting for all the fans of it. So yes, we have Akito telling the others, like when they all come in, saying, "Oh, I am so happy to see you. I love you all." And I feel like Akito's like his love is not like the same love as everyone else, but like he thinks it's love. It's like a twisted form of love, though. The chat, hopefully the chat's showing. Okay, yeah. Yes, that's the one. You probably saw the original version where you saw the thing where if a girl touches or hugs the guy, they turn into an animal. Same show, just like further along. This, yeah, you have not seen this part animated if you only saw the old version, though. Like the old one, I think only got like a third of the way through the manga. Around the third. Francesca could probably tell you exactly how far. But yes, we have Tohru and Kyo eating dinner. Tohru goes outside to check. I forget. Trying to find Yuki, maybe? Okay. The remake is really good. I never saw the original Fruits Basket. I saw like 2 episodes of it after seeing the first season of the remake, and honestly, it wasn't that special when I had the remake. But yeah, the new one is really, really good. It's not a show that I expected to like nearly as much as I do. So yes, we have this scene near the end of the episode now with Yuki and Tohru on the beach, and they're talking, and it's just like shows how Yuki has been like overwhelmed by his meeting with Akito. I thought I wrote down what he said, and like he's like so grateful. He's glad to have saved her. He's glad to be with her, and it shows like how Akito had instilled the fact so much that Yuki was useless, and now he feels needed. We talked about that some earlier, but I kind of forgot what I write when I talk about things, unless I'm reading from a script, which I'm not now, as you can probably guess by me saying stuff. And Yuki also makes a comment that she is the one always saving him, and he really like is committing to his love for her, that he doesn't want to lose her to Kyo or probably anyone else. But he knows that his time with her is limited. And he makes a comment too, like she's like the sky. It's so beautiful and so dear to him, but it won't be there forever. Yeah, really sad too. Like, especially since, yeah, I said no spoilers up until episode 10, so I'm going to skip ahead a little bit here. But just though we know that the Somos are basically going to be forced to go back with Akito, like after they graduate high school. So it's like, so Yuki knows that his time is limited. He can't be with Tohru even if he wants to. At least that's what he feels at the time. It's so sad to see Yuki's broken heart like this. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about this. It was really sad, and like Tohru saw he was sad and was sad for him. And yeah, out of all the different guys they seem to be like shipping Tohru with, Yuki's probably my least favorite. But it's not because I don't like their relationship, but it's because like all the other ones are great. Okay, do not watch the new trailer. I will keep that in mind. Or I will watch it anyway and do a reaction of it. So I've only seen up till episode 10, so I probably should watch a few more episodes before I get more into it. But yes, that is my thoughts on episode 7, my kind of rambling thoughts about stuff. Move on to the pictures for episode 8. Yes. Actually, I think I put the wrong screenshot there. Yeah, because that should have been at the last episodes. Oh well. So we start off episode 8 with you find out that Rin has been staying with Kagra. Rin starts to... Oh yeah, Kagra wasn't there in this arc other than here. Kind of forgot about her. She's not my favorite one, but she's pretty cool. So we learned that Kagra took Rin in. Kagra's mom tells her not to go because Akito's there, and she doesn't want Kagra to get hurt. And so Kagra smashes the door, hearing that Shigure invited Akito. No, she kicks the door. She doesn't punch it. Apparently, she causes lots of property damage, not just to Shigure's house. And then Shigure is asking what Akito told Yuki yesterday, and he just replies the truth. Akito is all over Haru this time. I actually skipped a few things in my notes. But yes, they all ate pancakes together, and now I want pancakes because pancakes are delicious. But yeah, he didn't see Yuki did not see anything more. He and Tohru just went back together before, and they all ate pancakes, and Yuki smiled. And I want to eat pancakes with Momiji. Pretty sure everyone does. Tell me if you want to eat pancakes with Momiji. So yeah, we have another day. Everyone's going to Akito. Everyone's going with Akito, except for Tohru and Kyo as always. Though Hattori stopped by and didn't really do too much. Though I do like how Tohru is like worried about worrying Kyo, so they go play in the sand. We get a lot of time showing Haru and Akito together. Like Akito picks like one character, isolate, get them alone, and like berate them in whatever way he can. Saying that the ox is a laughingstock in this case, basically laughing at anything he's saying, calling him an idiot. That. And they also bring up an interesting point with Haru asking like why won't you let Kurano be introduced to Tohru? So I wonder like is there something more that Haru is trying to do here? Is he trying to like give Kurano a chance to be with Tohru? Think that will help them and that will help everyone else? Maybe, because Haru really is a perceptive character with how people are feeling, and he might be doing this for Kurano. We also really don't know much about the relationships between the more minor Zodiac characters, like between Haru and Kurano. It's like never been in the focus. It has nothing to do with Tohru. That makes me wonder, though. What is there a relationship between Haru and Kurano? I'm curious now. You have... But then they come back. Tohru and Kyo are building a sandcastle. Momiji runs up, hugs Tohru, turns into a bunny. And Momiji's amazing. And then you have this adorable shot of Momiji being a bunny on top of Tohru. And Tohru is just like, huh? And then he transforms, and Tohru's also still like that. And Kisa's expression is great too. He's like, wait, don't do that. Don't be like that in front of Tohru. It's fun. I love how we get these scenes at the beach of them just having fun. And it works great to contrast how dark the rest of this arc is with everything Akito's doing. We get some moments with Yuki and Tohru here where Yuki's apologizing for saying all those things, but Tohru tells her not to because they were very important, that they weren't weird. And it just like shows how Tohru wants to like, help all these characters. She wants to like be there for them, help them through the curse or whatever it is. Yeah, the expressions are really great. One of the things that I feel like some of the like big action shows do is they don't give any animation for the more calm moments. Well, here in every scene at Fruits Basket, they have the right expressions or like the right movement to like bring it to life more. It's not just them drawing the manga panels into the anime, but they're actually animating it, which is great. We have Yuki telling Kyo not to lash out at Akito because that caused trouble with Tohru. We see Yuki being a lot more forward and like assertive this episode, and I feel like that's like him growing. He wants to fight against Akito in whatever way he can, or he wants to fight for Tohru more than against Akito. So that's why he's doing this. But he's also like more being resigned to his fate, thinking like he is part of the Zodiac, he can't do anything about that. So there's a lot of interesting stuff going on with Yuki here. We have some parts with Akito and Kurano. They're going for a walk. we're getting a lot more of Akito's thoughts with. Wait, I just thought of something. Who was the character that drove Akito to the school last season? Was that Kurino or is that another character? I forget. But yes, Akito's saying that Tohru is a stranger and that Akito needs to isolate her. And wait, might be. Oh, and he's saying it might be better for him to just eliminate Tohru, but because Akito is so kind-hearted, he will let her have some fun. And maybe he will introduce her. He's not sure. And as long as she's here, she'll be alone and realize that she can't match Akito because Akito is best. According to Akito, no one else. But then Kurino counters and saying that Tohru isn't alone. She has Kyo, but Kyo's just a monster, so would that be fun? And they're having fun at the... Okay, so that was Kurino in the car in episode 7. I don't know if you told me that, but yeah. That does make a lot of sense, and it is cool that they introduce the character early. They don't have to say who they are, but it makes sense that they would be there. I think we get a lot of focus with Kyo and Tohru, and like going back to Kyo's past, we learned that the bracelet he was wearing was made only because of another person's sacrifice, though they don't know the exact details of that. And he was wondering, like, is his life worthwhile, worth that much of a sacrifice? And then the wave comes up and smashes into Kyo and Tohru and destroys their sandcastle and scares Tohru, and she is adorable. And I thought I included the screenshot of Kyo like yelling at the ocean, telling it he was going to kill it. I don't quite know how Tohru would do that. I don't know what these screenshots are. I need to make there be more of a timer between them. Did I go back to episode 7? Might have. I might have clicked the wrong button here. Let me do something real quick. Okay. But yeah, I guess flashback to Yuki and Tohru is what you get to see while I go through the rest of my notes. So there are hundreds of... Okay, so hundreds of human sacrifices. Yeah, that's a lot, because my impression from the anime was like it was only one person. So I guess if they're... Which seems like strange to like restrain a single person. And it might be why Kyo's grandfather was like locked up so he couldn't get out if they didn't have a bracelet for him like that. So yeah, that would definitely make a lot of sense. But honestly, this is going to sound terrible to say, but I feel like it would make sense just like lock Kyo up anyway and not have to worry about the sacrifices, just like keep him in there if that does in fact restrain him. I forget if his grandfather also had that bracelet. And Kagura wrecking the door is amazing. Yeah, so then we got Rin and Tohru being introduced, and Rin just doesn't care anything for her. She even tries to kick Tohru in her horse form, which could be deadly, as I have learned from people who have horses. And I love how Tohru describes Rin as a voluptuous beauty, and she isn't sure her clothes would fit her because Rin is very defined in certain body parts, if you know what I mean. But yeah, it was kind of random how they were introduced. It felt like they just needed a way to like get the two characters to be introduced so that like Tohru would know who Rin is for whatever Rin does later on. So honestly, not a big fan of her character, but of course we don't really know much about her. So yeah. And Rin also lashes out at Yuki, basically says not to tell anyone that she was here, but she didn't do anything. She does something in episode 11, but I thought that was the end of the beach arc, so we'll see. But yes, then we have Tohru thinking she can only help a little bit, but telling Yuki that she'll be waiting for him. So it's showing that Tohru keeps trying to do what she can. Then Akito tells them to bring Kyo. And Shigure getting excited about the storm that would bring. Shigure, I still want to know what Shigure is planning. I do. No idea what it's going to be, but it's going to be some sort of storm. And okay, this podcast just makes me want to go like watch the. Okay, so Francesca's saying they showed Cosmo's grandpa with the beads. That the point of the bracelet is that it was made with human sacrifices. Kyo feels it's wrong to be using that. Okay, the sacrifices were hundreds of years ago. That actually makes a lot more sense. So I still don't know why the cat needs to be locked up, but that could just be what Akito does. Or they're afraid that the bracelet can be knocked off or whatever. So we will move on to episode 9 then. Quick screenshots. I kind of want to... Okay. There's Momiji and Tohru. This is adorable. But yes, we are now moving on to episode 9, which I think might be my favorite one in the arc, though episode 10 is really good too. Episode 9, we saw a lot of Kyo coming to grips with how he feels about Tohru, that he actually does love her. And I love the beginning of the start where Kyo is saying like his name has a special ring only when Tohru says it, and that he'll do things over and over just to make her smile. And I love the love that Kyo has for Tohru. It's the thing about them is that I feel like those two characters get each other in a way that the other characters don't. Like you had back in episode 6, I think it was, where Tohru was feeling down, but no one could tell because of how cheerful she was acting. Yet Kyo was able to see through her. And Kyo is able to see both the good and the bad in Tohru, which is something that I think is really important for like a good relationship. To love someone does not mean you think that they're perfect, but it's to like really feel yourself fulfilled with them and to care about them so much and to understand who they are, both in the good and the bad. Yeah, I have a soft spot for Kyo and Momiji, but I think if I'm really being serious, I have to say that Kyo and Tohru is the best ship. But I also like rooting for the underdog ship, so I have to ship Momiji with her as well. And this episode just like really lets Kyo come to grips with how he feels about her, how he does love her, and just like how he sees the good and bad in her just the same way that she sees the good and bad in him. And that is wonderful, and just how close they are. I'm glad that they got a lot of time together this arc, though other things happen. I also like the Tohru's thought that Akito is a rooster, which I might have also thought. I don't remember, because I think that someone told me that Rin was a horse last season. That would mean that the rooster was the only one left, but I didn't know about Kureno back then. Shigure makes a comment saying that Akito wants Kyo, so we know about that. And it was really cute when both Tohru and Kyo were going, "What?" at the same time. Or whatever the Japanese word was. It wasn't Nani, it was something else. And I love how Tohru is thinking it's wonderful that Akito wants Kyo. She's so happy for him. She doesn't care that she'll be alone. Of course, this is not good for Kyo. It just shows like how warm and loving Tohru is to Kyo. Like wants the best for him, not thinking of herself. And Kyo says that nothing good will come from this, which I actually don't know if that's true. You have Yuki questioning if Kyo was really summoned, and Kyo is making a comment that this is like New Year's with Tohru being alone. You have more confrontation with Yuki and Kyo. Yuki telling Kyo not to lash out, which he really has trouble resisting and kind of does. Yeah. And Yuki makes a really interesting comment saying that both Kyo and Yuki says that both Kyo and himself need to learn their place. Yes, I agree, Blackbird. Kyo and Tohru are, yeah, they're the best ship. And it's very interesting to say, like, Yuki needs to learn his place, though I don't quite know what that means. It could be like accepting that he's part of the Somas and that part of the Zodiac, he has to like go with Akito and all this is over. But he's also like and like he's saying that Kyo needs to learn like his outcast nature and all that, which I want Yuki to like try to break free from it, though he probably sees no way that he can. You have Akito calling Kyo a pitiful monster, as makes sense for Akito too. Akito. Oh yes, we learned that there is a bet made between Kyo and Akito, saying that if Kyo manages to beat Yuki one day, then Kyo won't have to be detained. but it's impossible for Kyo to win, and because the cat was never meant to defeat the rat. And Kyo wants to defy the fate that Akito has for him. It makes me wonder too, like, what is the reason that Kyo never can, in fact, beat Yuki in a fight? I mean, Yuki seems to be stronger, but Kyo has been training so much, you'd think that he would be able to beat Yuki at least once or sometime. But it could just be like the fate that binds them, that they cannot go against that fate because of Akito. And then you have a lot of times with Akito calling Kyo a monster, deluded, blaming him for his mother's death. And we also get Kyo hearing that so many times from his father as well, so much so that Kyo believes it. And there's a frame of Akito covering Kyo's bracelet, which I think really speaks to what Akito is doing. He's like trying to take away the bracelet that is keeping Kyo not a monster, and like reminding him again and again of who he or of what he is. And then Akito turns its attention to Kyo, or to Tohru, thinking that Tohru must be is too perfect, so that must mean he is she is a monster too. She's saying that only a monster wouldn't run away from Kyo in his form, which, I mean, Tohru did run away, which actually I thought was a great touch from that episode. But we're not talking about that right now. Though we kind of are. And I like how Kyo lashes back at Akito. I really like that Kyo is standing up to Akito instead of just like going along with what all the other characters do. And I know like Akito, like they can't really resist him, but he's still trying as much as he can. Momiji also does that later on, which is also amazing. Momiji's the best. And I like how he got the flashbacks there, how Kyo is really coming to grips more and more with how he feels about Tohru. And like how Tohru was with him, just holding on to him. And how it wasn't like he made everything perfect. Like she did not get rid of his pain. She didn't feel the brokenness. But that's not really what was important there. She just stayed with him, and that's what mattered. And she might think, and Kyo is even thinking how Tohru thinks that she's stupid and there's nothing good about her. And it goes back to his Momichi story of the Traveler. When Kyo like gave up everything, and how that is the type of person she is, and how that's a good thing. And I don't quite know what it is, but the scene with Kyo and Akito, we have like shadow things going all around Akito when he's with Kyo. And I feel like that might be the curse, or that might be Akito controlling him. Basically, something that Kyo cannot resist is like whining around them. He can't get away. So Akito is not just assaulting Kyo with his words, but also with that power, basically forcing Kyo to believe what Akito is saying. At least that's my theory. And apparently I don't have my notes for episode 10. Well, that's going to be interesting to talk about, because that's probably the most eventful episode. Oh, well, we'll get to that when I get to it. I just didn't realize I was at the end of my document. But then we see Akito noticing that Kyo is crying and guessing that he does love Tohru. And through this, he's forcing Kyo to like understand that by being with Tohru, that's going to put Tohru at risk. And that he has no right to love anyone. But one of the things I thought was really interesting here is how, like, when Kyo was lashing back at Akito was basically just telling him to shut up. He wasn't taking it. And that was the first time where Akito did not have any words to, like, rebuttal the other person. So that was cool. I'm glad that Kyo was able to stand up to Akito at least a bit. And, yeah. I feel like I've said things about Akito a lot. But we also get a scene slightly later with Akito and Yuki. Akito saying that Akito claimed that Kyo said that he hated Tohru, and Yuki basically says, yeah, that sounds right. But then later when Yuki's alone, we see that Yuki's realizing, no, that's not true at all. In a way, I feel like that's the start of Yuki and Kyo almost respecting each other. Almost. And I just hit a button on my keyboard. So yeah, and then on the way back, we have Kyo thinking about how he's always hurt others, basically wondering why he's alive. What's the point of him living? And then he remembered that conversation with Cosma, where Cosma was telling him not to step on the small flower, because and that's the representation of him still having hope. Even if it is smashed, it will bloom again. This reminded me a lot of Danganronpa, by the way. But yeah, even if he doesn't have hope now, like it'll come back. And no matter how many times he's thrown into despair, hope will come just as many times. And I love that line. That was just so cool. And he also remembers. Oh, yeah, exactly. It's like they're trying to do everything they can. Like you have Kyo and Momiji next episode, which we'll get to soon. Or like they're resisting in whatever way they can. And I think Shigure is probably the one resisting the most because he's not not making it obvious he is resisting. He's like being very subtle about it, acting like he's on Akita's side. Though Akita seems to be on to a point. But yes, we got Kyo realizing that there are lots in the world who would reject him, but there are also lots who would accept him. And we saw that one of those people was Kyoko. Like in my notes, I was like writing as I was watching it, and then I like was starting a thought, but then I just like stopped and wrote down Kyoko and like skipped something, so I don't even know fully what I meant by this. But we saw the connection that Kyo and Kyoko had, at least to a degree, and how they had a sort of friendship that we don't have many details. So that definitely like shows there is a connection there, and like how Kyoko helped Kyo as well. And I feel like that's like very fitting how like Tohru is picking up where Kyoko left off without. Yeah, the connection was so cool to see. It was. And how Kyoko and Tohru have both been able to help Kyo without the other knowing it at all. I wonder if they'll find out about that. So I wonder if that goes back to the reason, like, Kyo blaming himself for Kyoko's death. Like, was Kyoko doing something for Kyo when that happened? I don't know. And how long, like, were they knowing each other? Because from the what we saw this episode, it was only like when Tohru was a kid, and Kyoko died like a few months before the show started, where Kyo was a teenager. I don't know. But yes, then Kyo finds Tohru on the beach. Oh, we also got an interesting look into Kyoko, thinking that she only caused Tohru sadness, which I feel like that's something that Tohru would do as well, like thinking that she was not worthwhile despite all the good that she's doing. And then you have Tohru welcoming Kyo back, saying, "Welcome back, Kyo-kun," which is so fun to see. But then you also see Kyo, like, in a way, giving up on his love for Tohru, is knowing that he'll have to say goodbye to her eventually. What was I said? He hopes they could go far off together, but he won't have hope that he can make her his anymore. He just wants her to be by his side for the time, which is really sad. And I want them to be together for a long time. So hopefully Tohru can give them that chance. And now we move on to episode 10. The reason this live stream started later than I originally planned was because I was like rewatching this to get these screenshots and to refresh myself on what happened. But then I realized like I lost track of time and I really wanted to like see all of episode 10. Like, I'm gonna switch something with the screen. We'll do. Yeah, I agree. It's like in a way he was able to like stand up to Akito to a point, but he's also lost hope through that. Yes, we have Tohru and Kisa, and they're basically planning fireworks. And Kyo says that they should, or Yuki says they should do them the next day because that's the last day. And Tohru makes a comment saying it's like things happen so quickly, so much happened, which it did. It's like only 5 episodes, but it's super compressed with stuff happening. It's also like how vacations go. Like you are having so much fun, but it's only for a few days, and then life is normal. And then you'll miss all these friends. And I loved how Tohru loved spending all the time with everyone. And I just enjoyed like seeing all the or most of the Somas together here. Seeing like all the fun characters, all their interactions, Kisa being adorable, Hiro kind of trying to do the right thing sometimes. And you've but I think the part that like interested me most at the start of the episode was the conversation between Momiji and Kyo, and how like they were saying that they were trying to protect Akito or trying to protect Toru by Akito by pretending that they were just going along with Akito, and it definitely like made them feel like they were trying to do all that they could to help her, but they also felt really bad about that. Yeah, because actually this is too long. Try to get through these screenshots, and that just reset. Hold on, I know what I'm doing. Okay, we're gonna delete these. Will that work? Work? Maybe? No. Up here? Ah. Yeah, that is definitely true, Francesca. Like how and I just deleted all my screenshots. Please hold while I figure out what I'm doing. Yeah, and it definitely shows like the type of person that Toru is, and Momiji too, to a point, because like they were being like really like they were down about what was going on, but then they were just like having fun afterwards, and they're both like trying to trying to protect the other one from their own sadness. There you go. Okay, we're back to actually having screenshots, and it's moving way too quickly. No, it's not. And it's very interesting to see like how they were trying to protect Toru, how sad they were about it, and Kyo is like understanding what all the other characters are doing. Like he's even like respecting Yuki here, knowing that Yuki is trying to protect Toru. But then Momiji saying like, "Oh, you're making it sound like we're doing a good thing," which in a way they were, but it also shows like how powerless they feel to be able to do anything like make any real changes. And this was actually the scene that we figure out that Momiji actually does love Toru as well, and it's not just like they like like Kisa loves Toru, but not in a romantic way. I think, but Momiji actually does have feelings for Toru, and I feel like the whole shipping thing is between Yuki and Kyo, and I really do think it'll be Kyo. But I would not be sad at all if it is Momiji. Momiji and Toru are so much alike. They're like very happy, fun-loving characters. They love all their friends and everything like that. But there's also like a level of sadness there. They both like in a way lost their parents and are trying to deal with that. And there's a lot of sadness they're just like keeping hidden. So they definitely go well together. Like in a way, they kind of feel like they'd be better just as friends because they are so similar. And Kyo and Toru can like support them in their differences. But yeah, Momiji feeling selfish for loving Toru so much. Also thinking that he can't like escape the Soma Zodiac thing. Exactly. Like I do think that Momiji is probably my favorite of the Soma. So it's hard to say. I'll probably change my mind next time Kisa's on screen or Kyo does something. But yeah, I like what you're saying. Like you see here how Toru is so sad, but then Toru shows up, and then Momiji's back having fun, blaming Kyo for trying to mug him. It's adorable. But it also shows he's trying to protect Toru, and then they go watch the weird anime. because anime is very weird, but anime being weird is what makes. You get this thing with like Shigure and Akito, which is very interesting. It's where you start to see the cracks in like Akito figuring out Shigure is up to something, and like he's seeing that Shigure is not being kind enough to him anymore. He's getting jealous, and Shigure is very good at poking people. I think he's learned from Akito, and he's using this against Akito too. And he's like trying to figure out how to say the right things, how to stay on Akito's good side, despite that Shigure is doing something about Akito. Or she's trying to, like, I don't know exactly what, but kind of get rid of Akito. I don't know. It's hard to say for sure. Try doing things real quick. Okay. But yes, basically saying you're not being kind to me at all. Not kind enough. And I mean, I feel not throwing Akito into Volcano is being pretty kind. So yeah, Shigure's being plenty of kind to him. Though I feel like also Akito's definition of kind is probably a bit different than mine. And yeah, so Akito's getting jealous. He's afraid that Shigure is also looking at Tohru being with her, not just Kyo and all the others. I also wonder what that flower is. I feel like that flower is going to be an important thing later on. They would not spend the time to like put it in such an important scene. And then we hear from Kurano that something is going on with the main family. Shigure is suspecting it's involving a character Ren, not to be confused with Rain, as I did. I really wish the show would have names not so similar, because I actually thought when they were saying like Ren-san that it was actually Rin or Ian the whole time, and I just like got her name wrong, which I'm bad at spelling. It could happen. I'm bad at remembering people. But yes, Ren is up to something. Maybe connection to Rain. Maybe they're like twin sisters like Rem and Ram. Yes, Akito is very much on edge. I think Shigure succeeded in stirring things up. Alright, let's on. But yes, then you have Akito showing up at the house with all the somas. And Momiji sees Akito standing there. And it turns out that Akito wants to go see Tohru. Momiji does not want to make that happen. And I feel like this is the most we've ever seen a Soma actually resist Akito. Momiji basically saying, no, go away. And yeah, there's like a ton of suspense being built up here. And Akito even punches Momiji. And that makes you want to kick Akito into a volcano and or the ocean, or both. Both would be quite fitting. And it shows like and I love how Momiji understands Akito so much. I feel like Momiji understands all the characters. I was saying that about Haru earlier, but I feel like it's Momiji might be the one who understands the other characters the best. And Akito's like talking down to Momiji, saying, "Oh, you want to get to know me, understand me," and then punches him. Which you do not mess with the best character. And one of the things that we keep seeing is like the partway open door. Like the other characters can see and hear what's going on, and they probably do, but they don't want to do anything because they feel like they can't do anything. And then Tohru shows up to save Momiji, which, of course, Tohru does. Like, put her friends in danger, and she will do anything to help them. And then we have this. Ooh, I did think about what you're saying, Francesca, that Momiji's empathy for Akito, asking what's wrong and trying to use his weakness against him. That it's interesting how Akito is on edge by Momiji doing that too. And I do love how Akito always sees himself as the hero, as the great character who is being so kind. And I talked about this when I was talking about episode 6 with like Hiro and Akito being kind of similar. And I think of it here too, or I think this is what reminded me of it, because like this is the same thing that Hiro was saying to Tohru when they first met, thinking that Tohru is not this perfect, calling her out for that, though Akito to a much greater degree. And it's very interesting to like see how we get to see Tohru through Akito's eyes here, like thinking she is so arrogant. and all that. I'm trying to see the point where Momiji just appears to go get help. Because like Momiji definitely wants to help her, but oh yes, basically Akito revealing to Tohru that Kyo is going to be confined, and then like all the other characters are also going to like live with him endlessly and be with him forever. Which brings up the big question that I have about this is like, why are they allowed to run free outside of the Soma estate? Is there like a reason Akito can't force him to go back? Is he doing this as some sort of other bet or reason? Or is, I don't know, like, or are they not old enough? Do they have to be out on their own long enough? Does he think that will make them better, or like more, maybe he thinks that will make them more grateful for him to shield them from the world? And I like how Tohru is calling out how like, is that true happiness? And for a godlike figure that we find that Akito is to some degree that I don't know exactly it, but it's like they can see like take away people's freedom, give them a good life, and they'll be happy. But that's, and my screenshots are reset. Okay, so I think there's a thing with OBS where it cannot like import a certain beyond like a certain number of screenshots. So we're going to do something a little. Actually, you can do it this way. Sorry about the live changing things. We're going to add window capture photos. Will this work? No. Sure. All right, please hold. He's relatively young. Like, okay, yeah, that is interesting. Well, I actually thought because like Akito being some sort of god means that he would be like far older than that. Right. Open with. Sorry about the delay, people. Okay, that works. Okay, perfect. Here. Display. Sure. That didn't work. Yes. There we go. Okay, so we have Akito basically saying, don't be so arrogant to Tohru, that Kyo is going to be confined. And we learned that in Tohru's revealing that, yes, this happened to the previous cat as well. And that Yuki and everyone will live and die in the Soma state. So. This isn't working right. I apologize, people. Oh, and there are my notes. Yes, this was very well planned. Well, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna be able to show you screenshots because it keeps not working. But yes, we also have yeah, Tohru is basically coming to the conclusion that Akito is not the rooster; he's different. And it turns out that he is the god of the zodiacs. I'm not sure that's like the god as in like god of everything, or is like the god of the zodiacs with like more limited power. or if he's like the Zodiacs, like keep reincarnating, and he's the god of them, reincarnating as the god of the Zodiacs. So yes, like, and he commands their souls, and we don't exactly know what that means, but that explains why the other characters have so much trouble resisting him. Like, I mean, if I was an Akito and is doing that, I'd say like, no, I'm not listening to you. I'm going to go away or something. But this explains why he has all the control over them. Then you have Kurano show up asking like where he went, and everything there. And then you get Tohru to find out that he is the rooster, and she's now officially met all the Zodiacs. And this felt kind of forced to like include the meeting, but also gave Akito a reason to finally leave them. And yeah. But this does explain why they couldn't disobey for whatever reason. And I think that does tie into the change or whatever it was around Akito and Kyo. And Tohru makes an interesting observation, wondering if the curse and everything is also binding Akito. Because like Akito definitely is controlling the rest of them, but is he free from the curse? He's the one instituting it, but it feels like maybe he's also bound to it in some other way, and that could be the reason he is acting like he is. But then Akito leaves, Shigure and Tottori jump on in to help her and treat her wounds, but it is telling that they did not show up until Akito left, showing that they couldn't. And you also have Haru holding Kyo back, Yuki also listening, showing that they didn't do anything. And then there's a beautiful moment where you see Momiji crying for Tohru, and Tohru going over there hugging him. But Momiji did not transform. At least he did, but after a few seconds, and it shows how Momiji wants to be held by Tohru like this, and is doing everything in his power to avoid transforming. And this whole episode solely on the ship of Momiji and Tohru. Yes, between the two of them, I do prefer Kyo over... Actually, I don't know. Kyo and Momiji are so great. I think Momiji is my favorite character, though. And yeah, you have Haru holding Kyo back, saying that Momiji would get the older ones, which makes me wonder why he didn't go for like Kyo and Yuki and Haru, because like I feel like they'd be more inclined to jump in and do something, but maybe he like trusted the older ones more. You have Kyo hating himself, feeling like he could puke. He's so pathetic. And then there's a comment saying like it's not easy to protect someone. Yeah, that was good. And I do love that after like all this, they're back on the beach. I think this is when they're doing the fireworks. And Hiro asks why they're both injured, and they come up with like a dumb reason together. And it just like shows their relationship. That's just a cool sunset picture. There's a lot of comedy to finish off the episode, which I think was really great and needed. Okay, sorry, Francesca, I missed the more recent comments. But yeah, you're saying that we don't know what the previous god was like, Akito being around 20 to 22, which... Okay, so I guess that makes... So he's around the same age as all the others. And that also does confirm my theory that the gods also reincarnate. So, yeah, that'll be interesting. And that also brings back my theory that would mean all the other Zodiacs died around the same time last time. So there might be something to that. But yeah, end of the episode, you have some comedy with the fireworks. Yuki saying don't point them at people or buildings, as Haru points it at Kyo. But Kyo would probably be fine. Kyo would dodge it, probably. There's even a warning saying don't try this at home, which is great. You have Rin watching on, not doing anything so far, but then going back. And then there's just some adorable shots of like Tohru and the kids. And then you get Tohru reflecting that the characters obviously don't want to return to the Somas. They don't want to go back to living that life. They want to be free. Even if they have said to themselves that they gave up hope. They're not giving up yet. It's like deep in their hearts they want to get away from the restraints, and Tohru wants to make it happen, which Tohru is amazing. She has no idea how, but she loves him so much that she wants to break it. And she also makes a comment saying it's easy to say that you'll protect someone. Going back to what the character said at the house, that it's easy to say that, that's hard to actually do so. They're just some really cool ways to end off this arc. And there's also a comment saying like summer comes every year, but every summer is different. And you can have fun every summer. You can like do all those things you do every summer. Yes, I did forget that when Yuki was talking about protecting people, Yuki thought of Rin. And yeah, we still don't know why Rin was in the hospital. And I'm curious about that. And yeah, when I was going through this episode before the podcast, I did skip over some parts so I could like get through all the episodes in time for it. We post on time. And then you also have a scene at the end where Yuki is offering Kyo his seat, which I feel is the kindest thing that Yuki has ever done for Kyo. So shows some character growth between them. But then Kyo says he'll sit wherever he wants. It doesn't need a seat. Yeah, just great way to end off the arc. This is definitely my favorite arc of Fruits Basket. Also the only real arc that isn't just like a flashback one. So yeah, thank you for checking this out. For the people in the chat, people who will watch later. I have lots of thoughts about Fruits Basket. There were some of mine. I'll probably do like a more compressed video with the whole season once it's over. I don't know. I'm not quite sure what to do. I'd love talking about Fruits Basket though. It is definitely one of my favorite anime, and this arc is the reason why. And hopefully the Fruits Basket podcast itself will come back before too long, though we're still working on a few things with that. Yes, thank you for watching, everyone, for commenting in the chat, for telling me things I don't know and got wrong. Always appreciate that. And for dealing with me as I fought with technology and lost, as